What is your definition of success? Hi, this is Vasudevan, author of Follow Your Heart, Your Brain is Stupid. This channel is dedicated to those who wish to take charge of their lives and to create for themselves a life of freedom, joy, and happiness. Success is achieving or accomplishing your aim or your goal, which fills your heart with joy and happiness. Success will mean different things to different people. For some, success would mean amassing a lot of wealth. For some, it would mean becoming a celebrity. For some, it would be in acquiring a position of power and achieving fame. Someone else, it would be to help and support people in need. And for some people, it'll be just to stay happy and joyful. Success is not what others think. It is achieving what you believe in and aim for. You need to think about what success really means to you. Not your parents' definition of success, your cousin's definition of success, or your teacher's definition of success, nor Facebook or Instagram version of success. But what is your definition of success? The problem is most people are living their lives based on someone else's definition of success. It does not matter what anybody else defines success as. What matters is what is your definition of success. This episode is an excerpt from my book, Follow Your Heart, Your Brain is Stupid. It's an extremely interesting episode, and I want you to watch till the very end and participate in a small exercise as we move along. I promise you it'll be a revelation for you. Let's get started. Recently, a friend of mine requested me to spend some time with a cousin of his who was going through a difficult phase in his life just because he was following a wrong role model. So I said, okay, I agreed. This cousin's name was Victor, who was in the mid-40s. I asked Victor, why is it that you have selected this person as your role model? What is so special about this person who incidentally happened to be his boss that makes him so special in your life? Victor said, I look upon my boss as my role model because he happens to be the most successful person that he had ever known. So I said, okay. I then asked Victor, how would you define a person to be successful? What parameters will you use to decide that a person is successful or not? So Victor thought for a little while, and then he shared with me 8 parameters which he would use to assess the success of a person. And these were the 8 parameters. He said he would consider someone to be successful if the person was happy, healthy, reasonably prosperous, secure, had friends, had peace of mind, had good family relationships, and a hope that the future is going to be better. As you can see, these were the 8 parameters he listed. You will agree with me that these are fairly reasonable parameters to assess somebody's whether somebody is successful or not, right? Viewers, this would be a very good exercise for you to do as we move along. Take a piece of paper, note down these 8 parameters that you can see on the screen, and against each, mark yourself based on where you stand today, not what you want to be, but where you stand today. For example, if you feel against the parameter of health, if you feel you are really healthy, then mark a plus against that parameter. On the other hand, if you are suffering from any ailment or you are on some prescriptive medication, mark a minus. Be honest with yourself, because otherwise this whole exercise will have no meaning, okay? It is very important to assess ourselves. This is purely meant for introspection. Most people get scared to assess themselves, or they never realize that it's important to assess themselves, right? So just go ahead and be very, very honest when you're grading yourself. If you don't know where you are, how will you be able to get to where you want to be, right? I started the meeting with Victor. I said to Victor, I understand that your boss is very important to you and you consider himself to be an extremely successful person, right? Let's evaluate your boss using the same parameters that you have defined to assess whether a person is successful or not. So we started. As far as happiness is concerned, tell me, how happy is your boss? He said, I don't think he's happy at all. So I asked him, why not? He said, I've never heard him laugh, nor have I seen him smile very often. On top of it, he is suffering from ulcers. So I asked him, what should I mark this parameter as? So he said, mark it as minus. I said, okay. The next parameter was health. As I share this conversation with Victor, please evaluate yourself against each of these parameters. You can use the discussion that I'm having as a guideline to mark yourself. It is very important to assess yourself. You'll enjoy it, I guarantee you. I then went on to the next parameter, which is health. I asked Victor, since you mentioned that your boss is suffering from ulcers and probably would be on some sort of medication, so what should I mark this parameter as? He said, mark it as minus. So I marked a minus against health. I then said to Victor, what would be his peace of mind considering that he is suffering from ulcers? Ulcers is not because of what you eat, but what is eating into you. So what should I mark this? So Victor said, mark a minus against peace of mind. So I marked a minus. Next parameter for success was prosperity. I asked him, how prosperous is your boss? Victor said, he has money coming out of his ears. So he should be marked, this parameter should be marked with a plus. So I agreed, okay. So we marked a plus against prosperity. I then asked him, how secure is your boss? He said, as secure as money would allow him to be. I then gave him the example of billionaires like Lehman Brothers and Beyond Borg and Anil Ambani, who were extremely wealthy, but subsequently they filed for bankruptcy in many of their businesses. I told him that one cannot assess security based on one's position or his bank balance, because these are temporary things. However, just to be fair, we decided to mark a question mark against this parameter, meaning it's neither minus nor plus. I then went on to the next parameter, which is friends. I asked him, how many friends, real friends, does your boss have? Victor said, not really. I don't think he has any, because actually he's a bit of a jerk. So I asked him, what should I mark? He said, mark a minus against this parameter. So mark a minus against friends. I then asked him, Victor, tell me about your boss's family. How was his relationship with his family members? Then Victor said, actually, his wife has just recently filed for a divorce. So this parameter, the grading against this parameter was a no-brainer, right? We came to the last parameter, the eighth parameter, which was hope for the future. I asked him, how much hope does your boss have for the future? So he said, till I started talking to you, I thought he had a lot of hope, but now I don't think he has any. So he should be marked a minus against this parameter. So I marked a minus. Look, what you're seeing now is the final grading against each of the parameters. Happiness was minus, health was minus, peace of mind minus, prosperity plus, which was the only parameter which was a plus because he had a lot of money. Security was a question mark, which is neither minus nor plus. Friends minus because he hardly any friends, family, relationships, minus he had filed a divorce with his wife. Hope for the future, nothing. Victor was completely shocked to see the results. The person who he considered as his role model and the most successful person he had known, when evaluated using his own parameters for success, scored a minus in 6 out of the 8 parameters. This was a revelation to him because this was the first time that he had done such a detailed evaluation. This is exactly what happens when we do not evaluate ourselves periodically. We tend to assume things. We need to assess where we are. Are we investing our time and effort properly? Are we using our resources effectively? These are very important to assess periodically. Viewers, did you evaluate yourself against these 8 parameters? I hope you did, and I'm sure you would have enjoyed it. So, what were your scores? Do post in the comments. It is an exercise. There's nothing secret about this exercise. Just post it. It'll be interesting for the others also. At the end of the meeting, I asked Victor the final question. I asked him, Victor, would you like to swap places with your boss, knowing what you know now? Victor got up. He said, no, not at all. I got my answer, and he left. Viewers, ask yourself, what does success mean to you? Define success as applicable for you. Don't go by other people's definition of success. Write down your definition of success as it applies to you, and then go for it. Write it in as much detail as possible, and then go for it. This is the key message that I wanted to convey through this episode. I hope you got value out of this exercise. Even if you have not done your evaluation as we moved along, you can always watch this episode again and evaluate yourself. It's a very, very important thing to assess yourself. Just do it. It's for you to introspect and see what needs to be done. Okay. Hope you found value in this episode, and if you did, do like, share, and consider subscribing to this channel. So see you in the next. Bye-bye.